Hello everybody, welcome back to another video on the channel, Mr. Footballer Loons. And it's been quite a while, a month roundabouts, but hopefully you had a nice Christmas and a nice New Year's and all that gibberish and all that hula bala. But let's get on to the predictions. We're starting off on the 21st of January. Watford are home against Norwich, 0-0. It's going to be a big game, but I think it's going to be an anticlimactic game where it's going to be a boring 0-0 draw. Nothing really much in it. They're two teams that are quite low down. Norwich is starting to perform with a decent win against Everton, which wasn't too bad, a 2-1 win. But Everton have been on quite poor form after Rafa Benitez, but we'll get onto that later on in the video. Watford got a draw against Newcastle, which was good for them, getting a point, but they probably want to get 3 points to secure that Newcastle aren't going to challenge them in the future. But, you know, 0-0 draw, they're both in a relegation battle. They're both not really the best of teams, and there we go. Moving on to a whole new day, 22nd of January. Everton are home against Aston Villa. I'm going to say 2-1 to Aston Villa. Now, Aston Villa have done a bit of business. In fact, they have got in Felipe Coutinho from Barcelona on loan. Obviously, Steven Gerrard and Coutinho back together. And that's really good to see, but he probably only moved there because of Steven Gerrard. But Steven Gerrard is a class manager of Aston Villa. They've recently got a 2-2 draw against Man United, which wasn't too bad. And really, looking at the transfer, they've also got in Digne from Everton. I don't know if he's going to be playing against Everton straight away. He might be, but, you know, they're making some decent signings, got a good manager. They already had a good squad. They haven't made many departures. I think they've got rid of El Ghazi. Can't remember who to, but they got rid of him to someone. But in my opinion, I think they've got this in the bag. Everton look like they're going to be in a relegation battle. I don't think they are. I think they're going to bounce back up more of that mid-tables position once they've organised all the managerial skills and all that. I don't know if they've got a new manager. I'm not too sure. But Aston Villa just look like they've got this in the bag. Moving on, Brentford home against Wolverhampton Wanderers. And I'm going to say 3-2 to Wolves. Now, actually, at this time of recording, it's currently 12 minutes into their game. They're home against Manchester United, 0-0. Obviously, it's not going to be too much scoring in the first 12 minutes. But, you know, we'll see how that game turns out. But the last game, before that, they lost 3-0 to Liverpool. I mean, it is Liverpool, but even before that, they got absolutely battered against Southampton 4-1. That's not what you want to be doing. Especially to Southampton, the team that you can at least compete against. But sometimes Brentford are really bad. Sometimes they can pull off decent wins. Like at the start of the season, they won 2-0 against Arsenal. But they are home. I think they haven't been on the greatest form recently. Slowly dropping. I think they will drop a few places, but I don't think they'll get relegated. But Wolves have been very good with a 3-1 winning at Southampton, you know, and a 1-0 winning against Man United. That's really good, and I think they've got this in the bag. But Brentford, you know, they're going to be a bit more at it, especially after they're losing a lot. And sometimes they can pull off those wins, like I've said. And I think it'll be that random high-scoring win for Wolves. Moving on, Leeds United home against Newcastle United. I'm going to say 2-2. Now, Leeds United getting a very good win against West Ham. Like, that's insane. Leeds United have also got a load of injuries. They don't have, you know, all their good players that they would. I don't know who specifically. But they've got a good squad anyway, especially Rafinha. You know, he's insane. Jack Harrison getting a hat-trick, absolute beauty. Can he replicate it against Newcastle? I don't know. But I'm saying 2-2, and Newcastle have made a couple of signings. Kieran Trippier and Chris Wood haven't really had the best debuts. Obviously, Newcastle losing to 1-0 to Cambridge, then drawing 1-1 Watford. Pretty bad, I would say, for Newcastle. Losing to 1-0 to Cambridge, that is terrible. Cambridge are in League One, Newcastle in the Premier League. Quite a bit of difference there. Two divisions. But usually when these teams meet, it is pretty close. And I think Newcastle, you know, I think Eddie Howe's a good manager. He's just going for a bit of a blip. Because when he came in, he was doing much better. Joe Linton started to perform. And I think Newcastle, if they can sign Diego Carlos, which Diego Carlos actually wants to come to Newcastle, which is great. That'll be insane. I think that's all Newcastle need. Maybe a defender, maybe one other one to cushion it. But I think doing well in the transfer market. I think maybe 1 or 2 more signings and then January's fine. I think they'll stay up even without the signings, but it will definitely help to definitely secure it. And usually when these teams meet, it's usually exciting. Moving on, Manchester United home against West Ham United. I'm going to say 1-0 to Man United. Now, West Ham, as I've said, lost 3-2 to Leeds. Which really, obviously Leeds did do well last year. Finishing in, I think it was 10th, was it? Or 9th? One of those, I think it was 9th. West Ham, they're in 4th. They're in decent form, getting 9 points in the last 5 games, but losing to Leeds. I think they will fall. I'm keeping saying this. I think eventually they will corrupt and fall. And I think losing to Leeds, and I think they're going to lose to Man United. Even though Man United have been in quite shocking form, can't even get past a Newcastle defence, only drawing 1-1. Then losing to Wolves, only drawing 2 against Aston Villa. I think they'll bounce back against West Ham after West Ham got a lot of negativity to bring back from the Leeds game. Man United do have a good squad, but for some reason they can't link their squad together. They've got an amazing squad. They've got Sancho, they've got Ronaldo, Rashford, Varane, De Gea, who's a good goalkeeper. They just need to string it together. Moving on, Southampton home against Manchester City. I'm going to go 3-1 to Manchester City. Now, Man City are doing absolute amazing. They won against Chelsea, so they're definitely probably going to win the league now, like I predicted at the start. So that's good for my prediction. But Southampton, in my opinion, they're not the best of teams. I think they'll finish mid-table. I think they're going to go down a couple of places where they are now. They lost 3-1 to Wolves. The time before that, they did actually batter Brentford 4-1, which was very good for them. But they're definitely not going down. They're safe. Best player probably being James Ward-Prowse. I think in this game he'll probably take a free kick because he's one of the best free kick takers in the Premier League probably. But yeah, let's move on to a whole new day. 23rd of January, Crystal Palace are home against Liverpool, and I'm going to say it 4-1. Crystal Palace in their last game lost. Did they lose? No, they actually drew. Sorry, to Brighton, and that's a decent draw. I mean, Brighton have been pretty good in recent forms. We'll get onto them later. But Crystal Palace, they made a good summer transfer window. At the moment, I don't think they've done anything really in the transfer window in January. But I don't think they need to. They're definitely going to stay up. I think they're drawing too much is their problem. They can't find the final finish. But I think this time Liverpool will get back on it, especially after 3-0 win against Brentford. And I think they'll do the same. I think it'll probably be kind of tight to a point where Liverpool's stamina will just take over the game and they'll fly through. Moving on, Arsenal home against Burnley. I'm going to go for a shocking 1-1 draw. Now, Arsenal have actually been pretty decent. They're currently sat in 5th, whilst Burnley in 20th. The reason why I've gone for a 1-1 draw is because I think Burnley are definitely going down at this point. Not even Sean Dyche can keep him up. They've lost Chris Woods, which obviously isn't the big one because he hasn't been that good with only 3 goals and 17 appearances. But he has been injured and off of COVID or something like that. Burnley, I think that they're not going to deserve it, but they're going to somehow get a random result out of the blue. Arsenal are going to be really unlucky because they can do stuff like this, which I believe they did against Chelsea. Correct me if I'm wrong. But they drew 1-1 to Chelsea. I think they're going to draw against Arsenal. They've got a good defence and good goalie. And I think they'll just be very defensive this game, and I think they'll just about get a draw. Let's move on against Leicester versus Brighton, sorry. 2-1 to Leicester. Now, Brighton are doing pretty well. They got a draw against Chelsea, which is very good. And Leicester, on the other hand, are currently drawing against Spurs. It is half-time, 1-1, and it's looking like a good game. But I think Leicester will start getting back at it. I actually think they're going to win the game they're currently doing. I think in the second half they'll push on. But Leicester previously haven't been really the best. They're sat in 10th. It's not really the best at all, one bit. They did get a win against Liverpool, which is pretty decent earlier on. It wasn't bad at all. That's very good for them. I think they're going to slowly bounce up. This is their era to bounce up. I think Brighton will really put efforts into it. But Leicester, they got 2 good history. They've been in top 6 for a couple of years now. And they did also win the league around 5 years ago. So I think they'll bounce back up here against Brighton just about. Moving on, Chelsea home against Spurs. I'm going to say 3-0 Chelsea. Yeah, I know Chelsea have been a bit faulty on form. Well, not too faulty, but they haven't been picking up wins against Brighton, which they should be, especially if they want to win the title, which I think is gone now. I don't think they are. I think Man City got it in the bag. Spurs, you know, they're a funny team. I don't know what's going on. Harry Kane and Son obviously being the key players. They are a good team. I think they will finish top 6 this season, but I don't think they're as good as Chelsea. I think Chelsea, they're going to get back into it. They're going to finally find the stretch, and they're going to thrash Spurs. That will be the end of my video. Hopefully you can like and subscribe, and always remember to turn on notifications to never miss one of my fantastic YouTube videos. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.